It is time for 4 days in August. The 4 days, possibly 5 days, possibly as long as we can make this thing last, that lead up to Huntsville Hamfest in August. Hence the name 4 Days in August. If you've never heard of 4 Days in August before, I'm not surprised. I've only ever really talked about it on live streams, and so today I am bringing it out to you in a regular video format. Huntsville Hamfest takes place between August 17th and the 23rd of 2026. That's down at the Von Braun Center in town. But before that, we all might as well hang out at Montesano State Park and camp and enjoy each other's company and learn some stuff about ham radio. The main purpose of 4 Days in August, first off, the name is a homage to 4 Days in May from the QRP ARCI group that puts on 4 Days in May before Dayton Hamvention every year. And we're going to do something kind of similar to what they're doing, but kind of completely different. Normally when you go to a ham fest, you have the swap meets and some big time vendors and some small people out in the flea market area somewhere selling stuff, and that is awesome. You also have forums where somebody stands up in front of the room and gives a nice talk on something. We're going to do a little bit of a different take on that. We're going to gather around the campfire. We're going to set a spell in some picnic tables, area type things. We're going to build some kits. We're going to do what I call anti-forums. And anti-forums are where you get hands-on with something. If you've never soldered before, let's build a kit together. If you've never wound a coil before, let's wind a coil. If you've never done POTA, let's do POTA. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's have a naturalist come out and tell us all the flora and fauna inside of Montesano State Park while we do a POTA. You ever done CW before? Do you want to? Do you want to have somebody on your side of the QSO helping you decode and helping you encode so that you can get your first CW contact and get over your key fright? This is the thing for you. Let me tell you about the schedule here a little bit whilst I share out my screen here. So this is on my website. There will be a link in the description down below for it. And we've got the address for the park, 5105 Southeast Nolan Avenue, Huntsville, Alabama. You don't have to stay in the park to participate. You can come up and get a pass for the week or a pass for the day or however they work it at the gate. The dates are going to be August 17th through the 23rd. Come back and check the page often. There's lots of stuff. I go over the anti-forum thing that I just told you all about, and then we get into the schedule. The schedule is still fluid, it's still in motion. We're still making it happen, and you can help. If you would like to put on an anti-forum, reach out to me, let me know. If you would like to see one put on but don't feel like you're the right presenter for it, that's okay too. Reach out to me, let me know. Maybe I know somebody who'd be willing to do that. Maybe I'd be willing to do that, depending on whether I know the thing you're talking about or not. If you'd like to attend, leave a comment below the video and give me a big thumbs up that says, this is the one I want to see for sure. I will definitely be there. So the schedule, like I said, is kind of fluid, kind of in motion. Craig, W5CBW, is going to do a DIY loading coils presentation, an anti-forum. You're going to get to build your own loading coil to take a short vertical antenna and put it onto longer bands that it wasn't designed for. And then you'll get to know how they all work and how to build one, and you'll walk away with one. Some of these things do have costs involved in them in order to offset the cost of the parts and bring in the parts to the mountaintop for you and bring in all the tools and so on. So make sure you bring some cash with you in order to help out with those kinds of things. POTA with a naturalist, that's what I was talking about. Our friend Lou, K4H&H from the Hikin' and Hammond YouTube channel, is going to put on a demonstration of POTA while there is a naturalist from the park. That's not the other word that you're thinking of. A naturalist is somebody who knows about flora and fauna, and they're going to tell you about some of the things that you can see in the park. We're going to take a trip to the Wireless Museum. I don't know when this is going to be. We're going to kind of fill this in on a date, but the Wireless Museum is down in Huntsville itself, and I've got the website for it here. It's signals-museum.org, and there are quite a few things to see here. I haven't been here. The group did go out last year in order to see it. Why is that? That was zoomed in kind of weird. The group did go out last year to see it together. I wasn't able to do it because my flight got delayed, and the airline wasn't nice enough to tell me that it was going to be scratched entirely, which I could have made other arrangements for. Instead, I wasted some time at the airport. That POTA thing that I mentioned before, we are working to try and get Mike and Becky to do this. They did it last year at the POTA cookout on Friday. Becky was on one side with a 2-meter sideband radio, and Mike was on another side with a 2-meter sideband radio, and inside the park we made park-to-park POTA contacts via CW with a lot of people that had never done CW before. And Mike would coach you on how to send, and Becky would coach you on what you heard. And if you were on the other side, then Becky would coach you on how to send, and Mike would coach you on what you had heard. So that's still in the planning phase. Todd has signed up for some astrophotography stuff. I've got some photos because that was pretty awesome. So this is a photo that Todd took of some tadpoles. This is a photo that Todd calls the new wizard. I'm going to learn about this just like some of you are for the first time ever. So we're going to know what the new wizard is here after we go do this thing. And then this is a photo that Todd took of the Horse Nebula, and I can kind of get an idea why they might call this the Horse Nebula. But Todd's going to talk about all of this stuff. He's going to bring some camera gear, answer some questions that you might have, and help you take some photos of astrophotography, of the sky. That's going to be pretty cool. Every time Jason, KC5HWE, brings out his pickup truck, the big blue beast, I don't know what he calls it specifically, but that's what I call it. It's an older Ford F-250, and he's got it rigged out with a bunch of radios, and people always ask him how he's got it all wired up. So we're going to have it all opened up. He might actually clean it up a little bit, and we're going to go over the power systems, the antenna systems, and the mounting systems for all the different radios that are inside of the truck. And I think he's even got Starlink and All-Star in there as well. Don, our friend Don, N5SKT, is going to go over 44net. If you didn't know, you can get a dedicated IP address as a ham that is always yours and always able to be used, that is inside of the 44.x.y.z IP range. And you'll be able to do all kinds of crazy stuff either on the internet or off the internet with that, and it will help you get past CGNAT if you know what that is. And if you don't know what that is, you will after Don gives you a practical hands-on demonstration of all that jazz. Freddie Mac and Jason are going to go over All-Star. So I will have some more information, and I will update links in the description of this video as I get farther down the process, but we will be able to get you set up with an All-Star node of your own by the end of all of this, either by buying some stuff at Amazon and having it arrive at your house when you get back home, or by having stuff available on the mountaintop for you to purchase and then set up while you're there. Our buddy Mesh Dealer Dave is going to go over Meshtastic and Signals Intelligence, scanning all the Wi-Fis and the Bluetooth around you in order to figure out what signals there are, including all of those nasty flock cameras that are out there now. You'll know where they are all over your town. If you haven't seen them yet, they're still there. And this is where we start to get into times. Dave is scheduled for Wednesday at 10 a.m. And then we have Jim, WT1W, who's going to do a CPR or stop the bleed demonstration Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then we have Eric, W4EPS, that's going to help you build a choke. I will leave a link for Eric's website down in the description below. We don't have a time for that yet, but it's going to be on Thursday. John, N4JZ, from Portable Z Arrays, is going to do a phased array demonstration. We're going to set up an array, we're going to make some contacts, and you'll be able to hear the performance difference between running a single antenna, running an array pointing north, running an array pointing south, etc. And because of the way the Earth is unpredictable at this stage of the game, it might actually be east and west. So have a little grace for John when we get out there. But we're going to get it set up, we're going to make it work. Tom, our friend WA2IVD from the Ham Radio A to Z YouTube channel, has a very special kit that has been designed for Huntsville Ham Fest this year for 4 days in August. And then this is over in the Toads Discord. Tom says, here's the elevator pitch for the kit. It's called V-Check. It's a simple voltage monitor that you plug into any power source with Anderson power poles, or make a set of leads with alligator clips and hook it to any 12-volt-ish power source. The circuit works in either polarity, but if you connect it to power poles that are the reverse of the standard layout, it will display in big letters, reverse polarity, to warn you that you've done something wrong. And it'll chirp at you. If polarities are good, it displays the supply voltage numerically and as a bar graph, and it also shows the minimum and maximum voltage it has seen since it was plugged in. You can leave it plugged in as a monitor, and it will provide audible and visual alerts for over and under voltage. Planning on a show special price of $20 for the kit. This is a through-hole kit, and you will be able to solder this together with an Elmer at your side if you've never done it before, or solder it all by yourself off on the side with your instructions and your kit. And we'll do it up on the mountaintop at picnic tables. He says don't sue him if the price is a few bucks over that, but it'll be close. And let's see, there's a little demo here. So that's 14.67 volts. That's a little bit more than 12 volts. And then he's got a min-max reading down there and a little bar graph like he says. And it looks like he's turning up his bench power supply. Ooh, alert, alert. That's the kit build, and then our friend Jason is going to do an APRS demonstration. You'll be able to use your APRS radio and send packets back and forth to other APRS users and find out why that's fun and important. And it's not just about position reporting. Lots of other stuff you can do with APRS, including sending text messages to cell phones that are operated by people that don't have ham licenses and getting responses. So if you are away from a cell tower, you can still talk to your loved ones and let them know that you are safe. And then Friday is our usual POTA gathering and cookout fundraiser, and it's going to be at the John Scoble Memorial Pavilion. The rest of these, we don't have locations for yet, but we will find out where they are and get you more information as we get more information out there. We also have a simplex frequency that we're going to be using on the mountaintop. It is 146.45, so if you have a 2-meter handheld, I recommend that you bring it and that you tune it to 146.45 and turn it on so that you can be able to talk. And if you have APRS enabled on your radio, make sure that it is not enabled on any frequency outside of 144.39 so that we're not transmitting APRS all over everybody on the simplex up there. And if you are, then we'll find out who you are and we'll come over and we will very, very politely and graciously help you get your radio configured to not do that anymore. And then I want to give a shout out to some volunteers that we have. My partner in crime, Jim WT1W, is helping me put this on, and volunteers Michael KD8GIJ and JW9JCR are also helping out with this. If you would like to volunteer, please leave a comment in the description down below or reach out to me via email. I am temporarily offline at gmail.com. Stay tuned to the channel for more updates by clicking that subscribe button and ringing the bell down below, because I'm going to do an update probably once a week in order to make sure that we keep this thing on the move. And until your next update, I got a video right here for you I think you might enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.